Gabriel Jesus explains why he played on for 15 minutes after horror knee injury. Arsenal talisman Gabriel Jesus has discussed why he felt like he could play on for another 15 minutes after sustaining a knee injury while at the World Cup with Brazil. Jesus was forced to undergo knee surgery following a tear in his meniscus which was sustained during Brazil's clash against Cameroon out in Qatar. At the time, the forward managed to continue playing for another quarter of an hour before he was withdrawn by boss Tite. Initially, judging by the way Jesus responded, it seemed like an innocuous knock that would barely hinder his World Cup campaign, let alone rule him out of club action for more than 3 months. However, soon after the injury had occurred, Jesus discovered via national team doctors that he had suffered something far more serious than first expected and it would require surgery. When reviewing the amount of time Jesus has spent out on the sidelines, it would be logical to assume it was a horror challenge that did the damage. On the contrary, the incident passed by with next to no attention and Jesus even continued to play on for another quarter of an hour. As part of a docu-series produced by Arsenal and Adidas focusing on Jesus' recovery and rehabilitation process, the former Manchester City star has discussed the injury and what the road to full fitness has looked like. "To be honest, I don't know what happened, I don't feel nothing but something changed. I kept playing without pain, discomfort, nothing. Then I get subbed off, nothing. Then after, on the bench it became so big I couldn't bend my knee and I was so scared, you know. I've always been good with pain, I have played football since I was 12 years old and have played with pain." Jesus Brazil and Arsenal colleague Gabriel Martinelli also discussed the fallout of the injury in question and admitted he didn't panic at first. At halftime, he said he was feeling something in his knee, but I didn't think it was that bad, the 21-year-old explained to the documentary. "I think it was the day after the game, he went to do the scan and he was in the canteen where we were about to have lunch. He said there was something in his meniscus and he needed to have surgery. When you have this type of injury you get sad, you know?" Former French forward rips Gaultier for using injuries as an excuse for PSG's recent sluggish performances. Paris Saint-Germain's injury list has been growing as of late. PSG was without multiple regular starters for its League One home fixture against Rennes, including Sergio Ramos, right calf strain ailment. Gaultier noted following PSG's Champions League round of 16 exit to Bayern Munich that injuries were among the reasons behind the club's early elimination in the competition. During his post-match press conference following PSG's 2-0 defeat to Rennes, Gaultier regularly mentioned that he had 8 players unavailable for the contest. Former French forward Jérôme Rothen does not want to hear Gaultier talk about PSG's injury woes anymore. During Monday's airing of RMC Sports' Rothen SN Flamme program, Rothen took some time to note that Gaultier had the players needed to at the least clinch a win against Rennes on League One matchday 28. "Then you talk about absences," Rothen said. "Your midfield Vitinha, Ruiz, Verratti, is there. Up front, he has his magic duo Messi, Mbappe. He has Nuno Mendes on the left. Offensively, okay, he had to put Pembele on the right because Hakimi wasn't there, but you have 6 players to show us things. And they don't show us anything. The only thing they show us, as usual, is to put a little ball to Mbappe from time to time. Christophe and your staff, it's your fault. If there are so many injured, it's because you're not working well. Period. It's as simple as that. So stop talking to me about injuries." PSG sure hopes to have the likes of Ramos and Marquinhos back in action following the March international break. What Arsenal needs to do to lift the EPL after 20 years. Week after week, the Gunners remain in the top spot of the English Premier League. 8 points may not be that much, but the fact that Arsenal is approaching the end of the season with serenity and tranquility means a lot. An example coming from Italy last season illustrates what the Gunners are trying to avoid, a situation of psychological pressure jeopardizing a team that is experiencing successful days if we consider only the sports aspect. Also, we had an atypical season with a World Cup between November and December. The accumulated fatigue of the players and fitness, in general, are major concerns. The Gunners have transcended the tension of seeing a key player in the first part of the season, but their rivals to win the EPL title of 2022-23 have an experienced squad too. Guardiola has at his disposal names like Mahrez and Foden that were very important to recent glories, and they often don't even start the matches. Haaland also seems in top form, to the point of scoring 5 times in 60 foot recently in the Champions League. Planning well the use of key players is key at this stage of the season. Anyone that is thinking about how to make a habit of exercising has a notion that energy needs to be dosed, that a habit is built gradually and the body has a limit. But to professional footballers, the limits are much different. They are monitored constantly by big teams of physiologists. Injuries are prevented these days by dosing enzymes to detect when a player is on the verge of having a problem. But even if the Gunners haven't lifted the EPL trophy since 2003-04, the truth is any big club in Europe is expected to have a similar structure in this sense. So what has been the edge of Man City over other EPL clubs recently, to win 4 out of the last 5 Premiership trophies? What does Arsenal need to avoid to remain at the top? Arsenal to continue boardroom shake-up with Edu's solidifying position after Kroenke change. Arsenal owner Stan Kroenke is set to improve EDU's football intelligence recruitment unit after making changes to the boardroom. Kroenke released a rare statement last week to confirm his son Josh had joined him as co-chair, while board member Tim Lewis was promoted to executive vice-chair. Kroenke is now expected to give Edu greater power after the ex-midfielder's promotion last year. Edu became Arsenal's first ever sporting director, leading their transfer business, in November. The Brazilian is set to be given the green light to bolster the Premier League club's recruitment department, with 2 promotions expected to be handed out. As reported by The Athletic, Jason Ado will become Arsenal's assistant sporting director and James Ellis will be given the title of head of recruitment. Ado started working for the club in 2014, recently acting as EDU's deputy, while Ellis joined in the summer of 2021. Arsenal's recruitment structure has undergone a major improvement since most of their scouts were made redundant in the summer of 2020. Since then, the likes of Aaron Ramsdale, Ben White, Martin Odegaard and Leandro Trossard have all been signed. EDU's recruitment department is known informally as the Football Intelligence Unit. First-team scout Mark Curtis, data analytics specialist Tolly Coburn and loans manager Ben Napper are expected to be given significant roles in the revamped department. Kroenke has been criticized since becoming a shareholder in the Gunners in 2007. The American, who owns several sports franchises in the United States, became Arsenal's majority shareholder in 2011 before acquiring 100% of the Londoners in 2018. Arsenal have struggled to compete with the likes of Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United and Chelsea during Kroenke's ownership, leading to protests among fans. This was most evident after the failed European Super League plot in April 2021. Kroenke signed Arsenal up to the doomed project, which aimed to create a closed shop of elite European clubs. Fans wanted Kroenke to sell up, but he resisted. The club now seems to be heading in the right direction under manager Mikel Arteta. Arsenal are 8 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the Premier League, having played a game more. They have a great chance of winning a First League title in 19 years this season and seem certain to end their 7-year exile from the Champions League. Kroenke told supporters after the board changes, "This is a simple evolution as part of us all driving Arsenal forward and further reaffirms our family's long-standing commitment to this great club. Stability in football has never been more important as we move past the pandemic, and we believe this is the perfect time to formalize these roles. Our objectives and ambition will never waver, to field teams that compete for trophies at the highest level and lead our club in a way that inspires our passionate supporters around the world." Supported by our director, Phil Harris, and together with our executive team and all our wonderful people, we have an incredible opportunity to build on the values and traditions of Arsenal Football Club. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like and share. See you again with more news. Bye for now.